Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. Once again, a grand jury has failed to indict a police officer in the killing of a civilian. Unlike the Michael Brown case, there was a video. Everybody saw what happened. The video clearly shows the police officer, Daniel Pantaleo, applying an illegal chokehold to Eric Garner, who was accused of selling loose cigarettes. Not exactly a monstrous crime. In fact, usually all that would have happened in that case is that he would have been given a citation, a ticket. But for some reason the police decided to make an arrest. Perhaps because they knew him and he was a repeat offender and they were trying to teach him a lesson. Now, Eric Garner did put up some slight resistance to the arrest, but at no time did he become aggressive or attempt to attack the officers. The use of chokeholds was banned by the police in New York in 1993. And in fact, there is a specific law in New York that prohibits chokeholds or any attempt to strangle anybody. Statute 121.11, 12, and 13. Criminal obstruction of breathing or blood circulation. If a person simply attempts to choke anybody, it's a Class A misdemeanor, even if no harm is done. If the attempt to strangle somebody has any effect on the person, for example, if the person gets dizzy or stuporous or even loses consciousness for a couple of seconds, then it becomes a Class D felony. And if there's any permanent damage, which I think death would be considered permanent damage, then it becomes a Class C felony. So despite the fact that this law is on the books, and despite the fact that the video clearly shows Officer Pantaleo breaking that law, the jury still declined to indict. And here's the thing. Officer Pantaleo, this isn't his first time with this. On at least 3 other occasions, Officer Pantaleo has attempted to strangle citizens of New York. On 3 other occasions, he has attempted to murder people with chokeholds. And yet, despite that, he's still on duty. Still patrolling the streets of New York. Why wasn't he fired after 3 times attempting to kill the citizens of the city that he's supposed to be serving? Obviously, in this case, as in the Ferguson case, the prosecutor had to go in the tank for this one in order to not get an indictment. The grand jury records may be sealed, but let's face it, if a non-cop, if a regular citizen committed the same crime, and yes, it is a crime, the prosecutor would have no trouble getting an indictment. Now, this is an issue, I think, that goes beyond black and white. White people need to wake up about this, because if they can get away with it, if the police can get away with it with a black man, they can get away with it with a white guy. They can get away with it with anybody. So even though right now this is a big issue in the black community, it is something that everybody should be worried about. Now, even though my interactions with police have been, for the most part, pretty unremarkable, I have run into cops who have been arrogant bullies, and the fact that I'm white did not deter them from acting like assholes to me. And don't forget, during the Occupy movement, the police engaged in criminal assault of Occupy protesters who were mostly white, and none of them were punished. So it's in all of our best interest to rein in police departments all over this country. And the first step in that direction would be to remove those cases from the local district attorney and bring in special prosecutors. The local DA is way too dependent on the police department and way too close to the police department, and this corrupts the justice system. I mean, let's face it, people are losing faith in the justice system for good reason, because they know that the DA is rigging the case. And they know that the cops are getting special treatment. And that no matter how bad the wrongdoing is that the cops do, that they will not be punished. So the first step is to have special prosecutors in cases of police misconduct. We also need to do better screening of police recruits and deeper psychological testing and better training. And we need to place cops on a very long probation period during which any questionable behavior can result in immediate dismissal. And we, as citizens, need to grow up. We need to stop making excuses for bad cops. We need to hold them to a higher standard, not a lower one. Right now, we hold our cops to a lower standard than we do our criminals. And too many of them are living down to that standard. Thanks for listening.